When it comes to retirement, some new research from Edward Jones suggests that you should be thinking about four things. And here to talk with me about that is Ken Sella from Edward Jones. Ken, welcome.
Robert, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this discussion.
It's a pleasure. And I'm eager to learn, when you did this study, there were several things that you learned about the four new pillars to retirement. So one, maybe just briefly describe what those pillars are and what they mean for our viewers.
You bet. What we learned from this study is retirement's being redefined. People are thinking a lot more about reinventing themselves and their purpose. And so the four pillars really align right there. It's health, family, purpose, and then the fourth is how their finances support those three.
Right. So another finding that sort of struck me was this notion of the effect that COVID has had on people with respect to the timing of their retirement. And the study seems to suggest that some people have delayed retirement because of COVID. And also people who are still in the workforce saving for retirement. Your study suggests that 24 million people actually stopped saving for retirement, which doesn't seem like a good idea to me, but perhaps understandable given the circumstances.
You bet. We were surprised to find that was one of the key insights for us, is just the sheer number of people that stopped contributing to a defined benefit plan or a defined contribution plan. And we know that that 24 million number is it's just massive across North America. And so increasingly what we're convinced of is that individuals need to take responsibility for their own retirements. We can't count on the government in ways that we used to provide for all of that. We know defined benefit plans are going away. So the personal accountability and this personal responsibility has really been dialed up in this environment. It's more important now than ever for people to reconfirm their goals. And what we're finding as we're digging into this very deeply with our clients is that for most of our clients, they're still on track. They're still on track to achieve their goals, because what's happened is they've seen some volatility, but the nest egg that they've acquired is still purpose-built for the kinds of intentions that they have and the financial obligations that go alongside those. There's never been a better time than now to sit down with a financial advisor. I mean, when you have volatility, when you have changes to the way you're thinking about your future, like this whole period of time has over the last several months, it's a great time to sit down with a financial advisor. And we're doing that through Zoom calls all across North America.
Mm. So many key findings and interesting findings in the study. Another one that I jumped out at me, at least anyway, is one having to do with something called the digital divide, where older Americans may not have as much access to the internet, social media, and smartphones as younger generations. And curious if you could talk about the implications of that.
You bet. It's an interesting one, because on one hand, we know that our clients from all age spans are using technology in a way that's very robust. Internet, social media, and smartphones, as you mentioned. One of the things that's interesting about this is the adeptness or the proclivity to really being technologically native. So we take for granted, some of us who are online a lot, the ability to download an app or to figure out how to actually register yourself in a certain website where you're trying to do telemedicine, for example. And these are new experiences that people are having. And so it's been a challenging time for folks. And oftentimes, as sometimes happens in our household, we have situations where it's the younger generation teaching the older. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story about that. The other day I was downloading an app and asked a question to my 17-year-old son about whether he could do this for me or not. And he just smiled and shook his head. I said, well, what's the problem? He said, Dad, you got to learn how to do this sometime. I just can't keep doing it for you. So, it's almost a little bit of a role reversal in how some of this has come together.
Well, hopefully when he goes to college, he'll be nearby, so you can maybe pop in and ask him for help.
Exactly.
So another finding, it's chock full of findings, this study, and I highly recommend that people read it because it's so filled with insight and information that is worth knowing, is this notion of Alzheimer's and how Americans fear this almost more so than any other disease or COVID. And I'm curious the degree to which you think the advisors are in a position to help their clients prepare for a possible cognitive decline, in the best case, and in the worst case, Alzheimer's?
Yeah, you bet. It's a sensitive topic. And before we go there, I just want to acknowledge what you just said, Robert. We are so inspired by the findings from this study. We really, truly do want to democratize it and getting it into the hands of everyone who could benefit from it. And so we really encourage everyone to go out to our website and download that, and we'll give you the address on how to do that. Let me answer your question. Cognitive decline is a challenge. It's actually one of the things in medicine that hasn't had as many advancements as a physical decline, right? So we know this. We have procedures and we have a high degree of compliance to really robust procedures where we have, say, a trusted contact for every one of our accounts, so that when we observe that a client may be in a situation where there is cognitive decline or something happening that's out of the ordinary, our folks are trained to pick that up. We call it human-centeredness. It's really about having the empathy to be able to see what's happening, because your clients really well. When you have a relationship as deep as is required for a financial advisor and their client, they're pretty close to each other. And so we often can be some of the first people in terms of professionals to pick up on this kind of thing. So that's one way we do it. We know somebody who's a trusted contact. And I've got to tell you, we are supporting the work of the Alzheimer's. We're the national presenting sponsor, and we're investing meaningfully in studies that are being done at Washington University in St. Louis to find a cure, because it's difficult, and it is one of the things of this century that will be really important to people. As you said, in this study, what we find out is one of the most feared conditions in later life. It's not heart attack or cancer or even COVID. It's Alzheimer's. So something we're working on every day.
Another interesting finding was this notion that older adults are providing financial support to loved ones, to their adult children, and maybe doing so in a way that puts their retirement at risk. Any thoughts about, one, the fact that people are doing this, and two, if they do plan to do it, what's a good way to do it so that they don't put their retirement at risk?
You bet. It's a great question. It just speaks to the level of commitment that we have for each other. And it goes right back to the 4 pillars. Family is pillar number 2, right? So what we find every day is that our clients, their purpose often intersects directly with their family. And what we've really found through this study is that their biggest fear may be Alzheimer's, like we just talked about. Their biggest hope is that their families, that inner circle is growing closer. And actually, I think we all know, even from our own experiences, many of us working from home, others of us that have different situations that have developed because of COVID, whether you're homeschooling your own kids or taking care of elderly parents from afar. I mean, it puts you in more contact with them in one way or another. So that closeness is one of the benefits that we've seen. I've got to tell you that this is a challenging one. We continue to work on it every day, and without without a solution in place to, I'll say, make those individuals financially responsible themselves, the best advice that I can give to someone is consult with your financial advisor. Sit down and rework your plan through your goals, so that if you are going to withdraw part of your capital, that you're doing that in a way that you've consciously decided to take something off the table, which a financial advisor can help you do, or you've done it in a way that it won't interrupt your ability to achieve your goals.
Right. So in the study, you asked the survey respondents what they were interested in receiving from a financial professional with respect to retirement-related guidance, and the number one answer was advice on investment strategies for their retirement savings to withstand market volatility, which I think is quite interesting. What do you make of that?
Well, it's the profession we're in. When you boil it down, what we do every day is provide complete wealth management solutions that really help clients achieve their goals. We do that in a human-centered way where we deeply get to know them, what's most important to them, as evidenced by this study with the 4 pillars of health, family, purpose, and finance. The fact that they come to us for advice on market conditions and that sort of thing, that's the expertise that they're looking for. And that's exactly how our folks are trained. They're able to rely on expertise in our home offices. They're trained to deliver goals-based advice. So the role of a financial advisor is to be that quarterback who can pull all those pieces together, the market advice, the goals-based advice, and the wealth management solutions that come into place for them. So a really common thing that we hear, we need advice.
Yeah. So we've covered a lot of ground. Is there anything that we haven't touched upon that you'd like to discuss, or anything that we've discussed that you'd like to reemphasize?
You bet. I think it's right where we started, and that is the biggest finding from this study is that people are reinventing retirement. It's no longer about the end of work. It's about a new chapter. It's about new choices, new freedoms, sometimes new challenges with what we've been experiencing. And more often than not, retirement's about activating purpose. People are telling us this every day. And when we do client interviews and really get close to our clients and understand it, they're saying, hey, my financial advisor has helped me to see a different kind of future in how I spend my time now that I have more time in retirement. But it's usually through a questioning approach and a trusted relationship.
All right. Ken, I want to thank you for sharing your insights about the study and chatting with us about it.
Robert, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure.